when they are asymmetrical systems? Yes. Okay. Okay, next slide. Alright, so here's a frame from a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know,
Yeah!
where,
I have a paper craft from Harold by Lou.
that's right, good job. And so, you know, the movie is all about symmetry. It tries to show this perfect alien knowledge by filling every frame with symmetry. Yet you can tell by the frame, the frame is asymmetric. There will always be asymmetry. There we go. Okay, so life resulted from a rupture in the symmetry of molecular conglomerates with peculiar characteristics. For example, the acquisition, storage, and then manipulation of the energy taken from the environment creates a rupture in the perfect symmetry of the universe. By means of the rupture of this thermal symmetry, living beings were not more than abiotic particles squeezed together inside small globules called microspheres. This is when light first emerged. At some point in the cooling process of the environment, when the Earth, of course, first formed itself, the biomolecules then met into asymmetric sets. Remember, asymmetry, that life is innately asymmetrical. And so some of those sets could resist returning to symmetry through the control of the energy they obtained from their environment for maintaining the energy. And that energy let them maintain their internal energy density into a quasi-stable and asymmetrical state relative to the universe, so at odds with the universe. Okay, so here, these are two men made of mushroom. These are two mushroom men, Zola. Look, I'm trying to entertain you,
They're
right?
not marshmallows.
So,
They're marshmallows.
marshmallow men, not mushroom men. Okay, so I mean, I was talking about microspheres, so here you go. Microspheres, marshmallow men at odds, innately asymmetrical and at odds with nature. Here's a cnidarian, the first image of one in the slideshow called cnidarians. And now we start actually homing in on what I'm actually trying to talk about. Note the obnoxious font. It's actually green, which is an annoying color, but you can't really see it. So when we talk about thermodynamics, which is the branch of physics that examines the correlations and transformations between heat and other forms of energy, you think we acknowledge that we're innately asymmetric biosystems or living beings. In biology, the term symmetric, while it has acknowledged innately asymmetrical, relative symmetry refers to three different states. Anatomical symmetry, which is the arrangement of organs or organelles in an individual that is isotropic, which is uniform in all organizations from any angle of the observed biosystem, and we're going to be talking about that with the cnidarians. Then dynamical symmetry, which refers to the absence of rotational variance, which means that there are no observable differences at the molecular level, even if the biosystem is in motion. And then finally, energetic symmetry, which says that the flow and density of the internal energy of a biosystem is indistinguishable from the flow and density of the energy of the environment. Now, I'm focusing on anatomical symmetry, not only because this applies to the cnidarians, but also because it's the one I've come closest to sort of wrapping my head around, because it's very straightforward. So here, this is a William Gibson painting. It's a terrific William Gibson painting, but no, I mean, and I kind of wanted to include it because I think it's a lovely, lovely painting, and then I'm also going to try to shoehorn in the symmetry and asymmetry. So note that there's like an innate asymmetry just in the painting, that he, at one point, the figure seems to be part of the rock. Of the rock. Whoa. Okay, sorry.
You took up the black marker, so it thinks that you're using the black marker.
Thank you, Ethan. So he's sort of aping the shape of the rock, but also you can tell he's innately not of the rock. He's innately asymmetric. He's innately at asymmetry to the rock. You know, even as his body sort of shapes the crest of the rock, it's also he's innately asymmetrical to the rock due to the shape, due to his texture. It's also an awesome painting. So now we're talking about anatomical symmetry. Finally, we've actually, now we're cooking. There are no absolutely spatially symmetrical biosystems because life is innately asymmetrical to the perfect symmetry of the universe, the perfect symmetry of zero. Okay? So differences of the dimensions and arrangement of organisms and organelles of a biosystem will always exist. So we just have to acknowledge this fact before sort of talking about this relative faux symmetry. Right? So for example, human beings, you know, you might think you can divide us, you know, we have some sort of symmetry, but human beings have a liver on the upper right side of the abdomen, which is not on the left side. And in addition, when you look at bilateral organs, when you're dissecting something, a body is different in size and functionality with the homologous organ. So there's not symmetry. There's innate asymmetry. Also, a kidney will work with one kidney will work with a greater capacity than the other, or one will be smaller than the other, etc. So, you know, again, this is ultimately a foolhardy exercise. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. When I use pictures and putting together a slide presentation, a lot of the time it's not doesn't innately have to do exactly with what I'm talking about, but it's just to sort of provide some visual color, sort of a break from what I'm talking about. Now, this is not a box jelly, this is, this is not a box jelly, this is, Man of War, yes. And so we're going to be talking about the Man of War in a second, talking about how it is poisonous, yes, and we're also going to be talking about symmetry. Now, what I think is fascinating, though, is that as human beings, we're sort of innately attracted to symmetry, right? We like faces that we choose as being beautiful or attractive are innately symmetrical. They look the same side on one as they do on the other. So this is a portrait of the late great romantic poet Byron Shelley. No, Shelley. Byron was someone else. Shelley. And the guy painting him, you know, of course you're having your portrait painted, you want yourself to look as attractive as possible. So then you try to make the face look symmetrical. You try to make, you know, this side look the same as this side, have the same eyebrows on each side. You know, and because we're attracted to symmetry, we're attracted to this unattainable perfection. Now, finally, actually getting to something that's germane to what we're supposed to be discussing, in Cnidarians, this faux symmetry, right? We've agreed that symmetry is ultimately, you can't accomplish it if you're alive. But this faux symmetry, this surface symmetry, this apparent aesthetic symmetry manifests itself in the radially symmetric Cnidarians, which have no right or left, only dorsal and ventral sides, as Liam talked about. So Cnidarians are radically, not radically, radially symmetrical. This means that their gastrovascular cavity, tentacles, and mouth are aligned such that if you were to draw an imaginary line through the center of their body, from the top of their tentacles through the base of their body, you could then turn the animal about that axis, and it would look roughly the same at each angle in turn. So now we're going to see a diagram, right? So here, up here, this is a radial symmetry. Here's a Cnidarian, right? And Cnidarians, essentially their body type is that of, what's the shape that's like that? Cylinder. Yeah, thank you. Their body is innately cylindrical. So here, you can say this is what I was talking about. Here, see how it's divided? Right? Radial symmetry, like that and like that. Like a pie. Pies have radial symmetry. Think about a pie, you know? Or Shelley's face, which, again, we're attracted to the radial symmetry in that portrait I showed you. Now there's also bilateral symmetry, which you can see in this trowel, spatula, or shovel. I can't decide which it is. But you can see it in this, where you can divide it like this. Or in this lobster, which can be divided like this. Next up, it should be noted that Cnidarians are not the only animals to exhibit radial symmetry. The echinoderms, or jellyfish, also display radial symmetry. In the case of the echinoderms, they possess five-fold radial symmetry, which is referred to as pentamerism. I just included this because I thought it was cool and fascinating, and pentamerism is a good word. Cnidarians take on two basic forms, as we've discussed, a medusa and a polyp. The medusa form is a free-swimming structure. I'm free swimming! Woo! Which consists of an umbrella-shaped body called a bell, and a fringe of tentacles that hang from the edge of the bell. Here, I'm hanging. A mouth opening located on the underside of the bell, and a gastrovascular cavity, I can't even speak, which is up here. The polyp, on the other hand, is a sessile form which attaches to the seafloor. You guys saw that when you went on the tour, and you also saw that back here. Here's a polyp for all y'all, good people. Okay. The polyp is a sessile form which attaches to the seafloor and often forms large colonies, as we've discussed. The polyp structure consists of a basal disc that attaches to a substrate, which I showed, which in that image, a cylindrical body stalk. So you have the basal thing, you have your cylindrical body stalk, inside of which is a gastrovascular cavity, a mouth opening located on the top of the polyp. I'm sorry for the sound effects. Located on the top of the polyp, and numerous tentacles which radiate from around the mouth. Aren't those tentacles numerous? Okay, we're done. Where are we? Uno, dos. Okay, so, alright, this is it. I finished. I closed with two pictures which I thought were really cool. Again, this is a man of war, which, yes, exhibits radial symmetry and is also awesome because it's huge. Yeah, I'm just talking about this right now, and it's actually a colony of animals living together. I'm just talking about this right now because I'm obsessed with men of war. And so this thing right here is filled with gases, and he uses it, he hangs up near the surface, and he has tentacles that go way down, but he hangs up near the surface, and it's a bunch of little animals living together, and this serves as a fan, like the ships called men of war used by Napoleon and so forth around that time period, with their these huge battleships with their sails. That's the all-powerful sail, but yeah. And so the winds would blow the sail, and that's how it locomotes. Here it is, washed up on the shore. It's sad that it's dead. And then finally, here are two jellies, which are just cool looking. So there you go.
That's my video.